Hello, it's Amanda with the Artisan Leader, and I hope you're doing well, obviously, but I really wanted to talk to you today about something new that I'm going to be doing in 2023. But I want to start with a little bit of a story, which is that when I was in college, I studied sociology as my major, but my minor was art. And you could pick two different routes when you were an art student. You could be an art history major, or you could be what was called a studio art major or minor. I did studio art. Art history was a pathway that focused mostly on art that other people had made and what that art pointed us to in terms of like the political and the cultural and economic realities of the time period that art had been made in. And studio art was really about the art that you were going to make. And so our classes, our curriculum was primarily focused on you learning how to make really good art in whatever medium that you chose. And we spent our time in three different spaces primarily. One was the classroom. We would learn techniques, right? Because art is a skill, and there are skills in drawing or in making sculpture or in making prints that you can learn how to do. So we would spend some of our time in that kind of how-to space in a classroom. We would spend other time in galleries. And I mean that literally and figuratively, right? We would spend time looking at and studying work that other people had made in the medium that we wanted to learn to see how they did it. But we spent the majority of our time, and the most fun part for me was the time that we spent in the studio. The studio was a space for me where my best learning happened. And I think that was because it was an opportunity to practice the art, practice thinking about what you wanted to make, practice actually applying what you had learned to paper or to clay or to metal or whatever materials you were working with. And to do that with the teacher in the room and with other students who were learning alongside of you. So it was a less intimidating environment for sure. It was a really safe environment, and it was an environment where you learned really quickly because you actually got to do the thing and get feedback in the moment, not only on what you made, but on how you were approaching making it, right? The studio was space you wanted to be in. Like when I was in other classes, I couldn't wait to get to the studio and work and start making stuff. And I want to create that experience for you. When I think about the clients that I work with, they really want to learn how to lead well. And leadership shows up in these really practical ways, like how we lead a meeting or how we put strategy together or how I handle conflict with somebody in my workplace. And there are ways that we tend to learn about that when we're in a position of authority, right? And I will use this analogy that we have classroom space. We go to conferences or we read books or we do webinars and we learn kind of the how-to of leadership, of communication, whatever. And then there's gallery space where we learn, right? Where we are constantly looking at other people in leadership roles, whether they're in our company or on TV or on the internet, and we sort of think, I want to emulate that leader or I don't want to emulate that leader. But there's very little learning space, I think, for people in leadership roles, like CEOs or director level people, that really is like the studio experience where you get to practice, where you get to not only learn how to put a meeting together that creates meaningful movement for your people, where you not only learn how to approach and navigate a really difficult conflict that you might be having with a peer, but where you also get to do that in the presence of other people who are managing the same kinds of issues, who want to learn the same kinds of things, and actually make it happen, actually practice doing it, actually get feedback in the moment on not just what you're doing or what you did, but on how you thought about it and how you approached it. Space that's fun, that's this fun combination of content, like how to do it, community, right? People that you are in the midst of learning with, and also coaching that helps take you from like where you are to where you want to be when it comes to this topic of leadership. And so in 2023, I'm going to be putting this out into the world for the first time, this experience that I'm calling the studio. It's going to be for people who want that kind of learning, who want that kind of experiential learning to get better at the elements that all go into leadership, like trust and strategy and conflict and all of that. But that's also going to give you an experience learning it with other people and with the teacher, the facilitator, the coach in the room with you. It's going to be 6 group sessions together that are topically focused on some of these areas, some of the medium, right? And then it's going to be bookended by individual coaching sessions with me. And it'll also include some curated content for you that I think is particularly helpful, as well as an online community where you and your colleagues can share information and support one another. I'll be sending out more information at the first of the new year, including a link to an application process, so I can learn more about the people who want to be a part of this experience. I hope that you will check it out. I'm going to have more information up on my website at theartisanleader.com/studio, so check it out. But for now, I just wanted to whet your appetite and plant that seed and get you thinking about whether a studio space for learning might make sense for you in 2023. If so, send me an email, give me a call, whatever. All my contact information is online. I would love to hear from you about how to make that experience work for you. And if you're interested in applying, please, please, please reach out so we can put a good group together for the studio for 2023. Happy holidays. I'll see you in the new year. Bye.